the change I made. I mean, the questions remain the same. It's just, it's true that it was, I previously indicated only 2 actions. We currently have 4 actions. So that's the change.
And the estimated budget was higher in the question than in the chart.
Yes, yes. It was Francois coming back after me.
To move it up or to move it down?
To move it down. You know, he's the assistant of the director, is keeping the money. But indeed, this is part, obviously, of the discussions. So let me try again to share the slide. Drop, close the file here. Yes, this is the final slide. Good. We might be live now. Are we? 3:45 recording. I started, so I do believe that we're gonna start. Yeah, people are joining us. Good afternoon, everybody. We hope that you hear us well, actually. Meanwhile, starting slowly, I will ask my dear speakers to perhaps close their microphone while I will be presenting the workshop of this afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. Very welcome to all of you. I hope, yeah, you might be hearing me. I do believe, yes. I had a change in the sound. So actually, I'm Bertrand Wert, working for the EIC, Business Acceleration Services. Actually, I'm an innovation maker, specialized in linking European public procurers of innovations, and actually all the more than 5,000 companies, very innovative companies that we do have, that we are supporting us, the European Innovation Council. Actually, I'm very happy to co-chair this session with a dear colleague, François Brizard. Coucou François. He is another fan, actually, facilitator and maker of innovation procurement. Together, we are actually very happy and honored, on the top of it, to welcome 6 speakers, 5 women, 1 man. And actually, you're from Germany, France, Finland, Italy, and Spain. You are 6 great, inspiring experts with different backgrounds. We have procurers on one side. We do have also facilitators. And we have 1 supplier of innovation, 1 great CEO, actually. So just to present them a little bit more, actually, we do have Louis Potel. Louis is coming from France, Paris. He's working for RESA, which is a platform of procurers specialized in the healthcare sector. We do have also Elisa France, and Elisa is coming from Germany. You're working representing Health Proc Europe Association. You're also a procurer, a bunch of German and European procurers, also in the field of healthcare. We are very pleased, actually, also to have together with us Lydia Caparelli, coming from Roma, and coming from Consip, which is one or the largest, I could say, the largest procuring authority in Italy, important body. We also have Miriam Martin from TIC Biomed from Spain. And actually, Miriam, you will explain us how you are facilitating the matching between procurers and innovators, suppliers. Like you, we also have Isabelle Barryman from Motiva from Finland and working for the Innovation Agency. And you are pretty much doing the same, Isabelle. And finally, we do have also Céline Saint-Olive-Bach, CEO coming from a nice Lyon-based company specialized also in the healthcare sector. So today, we will have 45 minutes, a bit less now, together. And actually, the challenge is rather simple. The question is that we, the European Innovation Council Accelerator, we would like you, so the speakers, but also you online, to help us to develop new types of co-creation actions in order to support procurers of innovation on one side and SMEs or suppliers of innovation on the other side. We need to match these two people. So actually, for that, we would like to launch actually specific actions in the next year, in 2021, specific actions in co-creation, innovation, procurement between these two bodies. But indeed, for that, we want to design the concept with you, procurers, facilitators, makers of innovation, or any other observers, researchers, you name them. Rules of the game for today. I will shortly in a moment present the proposals that we have on the table for the time being. These are only proposals. And then our 6 speakers will react live, and you, with the chat box that Francois is monitoring actually, you will have the possibility to react and to ask questions. So time runs short indeed, but no worries. We thought about it and we said, why not trying to meet another time, actually next week, same day, same time, next Wednesday, the 30th of October at 3:30. We'll set up a Zoom, you know how it works now, and we meet another time in order to debrief a bit of what we said today and in order to help us again to design these new instruments. I will come back on that at the end of the day. So let's get into the proposal. What we are coming and putting on the table for you actually. Here, if you can see it, is more or less what we would like to discuss today. Sorry, the presentation moved a little bit. For your information, the EIC, the European Innovation Council, we are currently supporting, investing, giving grants to more than 5,000 companies. But we also work with the ecosystem around the companies. So on supporting innovation procurement, we already do what we call market consultation. Procurers, you know that what is all about. For your information, we had a very nice market consultation last week, actually, with the Belgian postal group, bpost, where we had actually 12 of our EIC companies that pitched their innovative solution to bpost procurers. Actually, this bpost was on bpost market consultation was on e-mobility and charging infrastructures. Any other procurers that wants also to experience this, you're welcome to contact us. So that's what we do currently, but we want to go further than that. You can see on the slide that actually, yes, this is indicated. This is the action 2 that we are currently doing. We would like to envisage 3 other types of actions that we want to discuss with you. First one is the needs assessment. Very important for procurers to know what you want, your colleagues want to procure actually. So we would like eventually to support that. We put 10K per needs assessment on the table. And then we have two other type of actions, the co-creation of solution action with 50K, and here it's to co-create together. And then the third one, action number 4, to co-develop the term of references. Well, this is the proposal. I went very fast. But just to say that, again, if you have any other type of ideas that are coming before the procurement is launched, here, all these actions are coming before the real procurement is launched. It will be an open, fair, competitive procurement procedure, but we want to imagine any other type of actions we can develop here. Your ideas are very welcome. And just to finish by perhaps suggesting or inviting our speakers to answer a couple of questions. So, for example, these actions are meeting your needs, procurers. Do you need to be supported in your need assessment, in co-creation of solutions or co-development of terms of preferences? And the same for the companies. Céline, does it seem appealing for you? Would you engage with a procurer going through these actions, actually? I can ask another type of question. Do you see any other type of actions of co-creation that we could develop? Yes, I will stop here, and without waiting more, I will actually invite Louis Potel from Reza, perhaps to start the exchanges. Thank you, Louis. You have 5 minutes.
Yeah, thank you, Bertrand. Apparently, there is an unbalanced gender here, so it's the rule change. It's not woman first; it's man first. So thank you very much for giving me the floor. Just before I start, very quickly, you already introduced myself, but yes, I'm working for Reza, which is a central purchasing body, public one, acting in the healthcare sector in France. It's just important because the experience I want to share here and to react on what you just proposed will be based on my experience or experiences in the healthcare sector, and maybe it's different in other sectors, of course. First thing I want to say is that here we are talking about, I think, two different types of co-creation. You have co-creation of innovative solutions, which mean put together end users. So from my experience, so healthcare professional, for example, and innovative company who want to create an innovative solution. And you can also have co-creation in the preparation phase of a tender. So during the open market consultation, when you are a public procurer, you want to know all innovative solutions that may be available on the market in order to design your tender document to be sure that it is competitive and to be sure that all potential suppliers who could propose a solution to address your need can submit an offer to your tender. So I think it's first very important to separate these two different types of co-creation. The one before any tender, because the solution does not exist, so you have to co-create the solution, and the one when the solution exists, but you need to have a good overview of the innovative solution existing in order to design your tender. Today, I just want to share, I think I only have 4 more minutes, so it will be very quick, but I want to share experience with the first type of co-creation, which is co-creating innovative solution because it doesn't exist. And I will use our experience with the in-demand project. You mentioned it very quickly before, Bertrand, and I know that my colleague Miriam will also talk about it later, but in-demand, it's an innovative project which has been financed under the H2020 program. And the objective of the project was to develop a new way of doing co-creation and on giving the tool to European stakeholders to co-create innovative solutions. So this is what we did in this project. The project is now at the end. We tested the methodology in 3 pilot regions, in France, in Finland, and in Spain, and we have reached, I think, very good results. So what I want to share today is the benefit of doing co-creation before the solution exists, which means do not let the suppliers develop the solution by themselves and then come to the market and say, okay, I have an innovative solution. Are you interested to use it? No. The best way, I think, to develop innovative solutions that will be adopted at the end and that will be used by public organizations, and again, in the healthcare sector, is to make them work together in order to be sure that the solution addresses the exact need of the end users. And I see here with this type of model, and of course, I will be more than happy to discuss with the attendee of this workshop after the webinar to present more details the methodology. But I see very free benefit for healthcare professional or for public organization, for public procurers. The first is that if you participate to the development of innovative solution, you will ensure that this solution will perfectly address your need. And so at the end, you will have a better adoption rate. The second one is that it increases the involvement of your collaborator in the innovation strategy of your organization, because they are involved in the development of the solution, and they are not only asked to use an innovative solution, that is proposed to them. And third is to enlarge your partner network, because being involved in such projects, you not work alone. You work with all the innovation ecosystem, and so by working with many different stakeholders, it can open new and future collaboration opportunities. But for suppliers, you have also great benefit of doing co-creation with your future solution. First is to get a privileged access to end users and so to your final customers. And this is especially true in the healthcare sector. We know that the medical team inside the hospitals and the healthcare organization are more than busy. And by this kind of public initiatives, you give the opportunity to the suppliers to get access to the end users, to the medical team, to co-develop the solution, and so they can create a very privileged relation together, and so it will, of course, again, accelerate and increase the adoption of the innovative solution at the end. The second benefit for suppliers is to, again, increase the adoption of your solution, and so have a better success during the commercialization phase. So the innovation is used by more and more public organizations. And the last one also is to reduce the development time of your solution. If you are alone with your developers to develop a solution on expectation of the potential need of the end users, you are working on expectations, and so it might take time. You might make mistakes, and so you are delaying the development of your solution and the obtention of the final version of the solution. Working with the end users at a certain moment of the development stage of your solution will accelerate the development time of your solution. So, just in the conclusion of my very, very short speech, and I really want to encourage EIC, and you already know that we are here with Miriam and with the Independent partner to take this methodology, take these tools we have developed, we have tested to create program, because the Independent project is now ended, or will be ended in a few months. And all of this was developed during a European project with public funds, and we don't want to have this lost. We just want to have more and more region, more and more European stakeholders using that methodology to develop innovative solutions that will be used by public organizations and that will totally address the needs of the end users. And I think it's 5 minutes, more or less. And Bertrand disappeared.
So sorry about that. Bertrand is apparently experiencing some technical issues, so I suggest that, and sorry about that, that the next speaker is giving us his experience and feedback. Elisa, please. Elisa France, she seems also to be off. I'm sorry about that. Therefore, Lydia. Yes.
Okay. So,
thank you.
Welcome. Thank you to Bernard for this, to Francois for this opportunity, because it was really important for us to discuss internally which proposal to give you today. So, just some numbers about our organization. It was well presented by Bernard. We are the central purchasing body of Italy, and we count 400 more or less employees, and the overall transaction value is about 14 billion. So we are in the middle. In one hand, we have public authorities, and there are more or less 40,000. In the other hand, we have 4.4 million enterprises in Italy. So you understand the effort to put together, on one hand, the needs of public authorities, and the other hand, the offers that comes from supplier side. So what we are doing about innovation, just to be precise, our field of action is not the co-creation of a solution that doesn't exist yet, but to put together the solutions that also are in place and are innovative, and the needs of public authorities that asks for more efficiency, more efficacy, and so on. So our topic is to build a bridge between the innovative suppliers and the public authorities and solve their needs. So this is the focus, and I'm focusing on that. What we are actually doing is to analyze the register. Is an Italian register of small and medium enterprises and startup, innovative startup and small and medium enterprises, and to help them to shorten the distance with the public authorities. And we are trying to understand which is the best way to accompany all these small and medium enterprises and startups, innovative startups, in our electronic marketplace. And I think in the next weeks, months, we are going to build this bridge. But what we are just focusing on for the tender procedure, what you call co-creation for us is the a part of our internal strategy that we call definition of the strategy for the tender procedure. And in this definition of the strategy, there is the analysis of demand and the market demand. In this phase, what we do about analysis of demand. So we have a specific unit that do that, analyze the demand that comes from public authorities in Italy. And then in the other side, we have a process, an internal process that has a structured process to include also all the claims, all the problems that public authorities had in previous initiative of a tender. In this case, what we do, we match the needs of the authorities, the public authorities, and the claims or the new needs that they expressed. In this term, all these kind of analyses are analyzed into the strategy, and then with the open market consultation, we analyze which kind of solutions the market can perform. And this is the focus of our proposal. What we analyzed is that the register and all the registers that we can contact are not easy to read. Also, patent register, European register of innovative suppliers, Italian register of innovative suppliers. So what we need is to have a solution in terms of artificial intelligence product that match the analysis of the innovative solutions that are in the field right now, ready to use, and match the need that we are going to procure. In this term, the solution must have some conditions, and of course, easy to use and quick. And we are looking for an across-the-board solution. And because time is really important for innovation, so innovation go quickly into the market and is also sort of become old in a few months. So it's really important to sustain the suppliers in a quick way. So another condition must be interoperable with our systems, reusable, multi-language, because what we have the aim to sustain is the innovation across Europe. So this is really important for us. So to have a artificial intelligence product that analyze the content of innovation that is already in place, and then with a short list of this research, maybe we can perform a one-to-one dialogue or maybe a workshop with the suppliers. And for our colleagues and for me, this would be really helpful for the sustain and the for innovation. So this is what we're looking for. And thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Lydia. I mean, it's very interesting to see the way from the experience of we, which is, I would say, a very upstream elements of the co-creation, and we have seen that it is very important that we commonly define what we understand by co-creation. Also looking on the way you are very well describing your internal processes, but also combined with market consultation and also the challenges that are in front of you. But I think that we can come back to it once we will try to wrap up a little bit. I fear that Bertrand has so much difficulties to come back, but let's see. I would like to invite Miriam to now also give the experience and also to duly reflect the in-demand health program that we know to help us to design these co-creation schemes for the future. Thank you, Miriam.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm really glad that we've been invited to take part in this session, because at the end of the day, it's a sort of co-creation just to define like a new activity within the EIC. So thank you very much. I'm Miriam Martin. I work as a responsible of a European project in TIC Biomed, and we are a cluster association based in the southeast of Spain, and we work on only digital health. And our main objective is just to facilitate the open innovation within the different healthcare stakeholders, healthcare organizations, companies working on health, and any administration. Any stakeholder dealing with health, it's invited to work in this open innovation. And our experience is quite wide, but it is especially focused on this in-demand project that Louis has already presented. I mean, being the fourth speaker, some of the ideas has already been explained, but I'll try to provide some new insights. I think what is important to mention it is that we are, I mean, the main objective of this activity, it is to reach the procurement, to procure the solutions that have been co-created. So at the end of the day, what it is important or what has to be in the center of the action, it is the procurers, because they are the ones that are going to launch the procurement. So we really need to involve them in all the different steps, starting from the need identification and moving towards the creation of the terms of reference or the co-creation of the solution. So starting with the need identification, I think it's pretty important to change the idea that we traditionally had in the at least in the health market. It was traditionally a technology push. There were a lot of solutions that were offered to the healthcare organizations, but they were not usually linked to the needs. So if we moved into a demand-driven approach, and that is what we have done in demand, we realized that we are able to introduce the change management within the healthcare organizations, and it will be easier to innovate within this healthcare organization. Professionals will be more motivated, and it would be easier to align the needs of the management to the offer from the companies. So in this first step of the need identification, we could really use co-creation quite easily. We've been using that in large PCP projects where at the very beginning you need to identify needs, and at least you have 3 procurers working together to define a common need. But not only that, when you work in define in Tampere, that's one of the in-demand regions. In Tampere, they have been working from the very beginning, healthcare organizations, companies, social organizations, a patient association in the definition of the need. So that is like one way of using co-creation for the need definition. If we move into the co-creation of the solution, once the need has been identified, we have to make sure that the procurers play an important role. And we really need the commitment from the procurers from the very beginning for 2 reasons. I mean, one, the first one, it is because professionals are going to be working together with the companies in the development of the solution. So you need some involvement. And this is a task that it is not usually included in their, let's say, description of work. I mean, the work of the professional, it is to provide good health services to the patient, but it is not co-created with companies. So you need to explain really well what it is expected from them. And if they are motivated, you will really achieve pretty good results. And our experience with the 22 companies that have gone through the in-demand project in the 3 years that it has been implemented, it is that companies are able to change the approach that the solution had at the very beginning, following the interaction with the professionals and with the patients. So the result, it is a solution that better, as we mentioned, that better meets the needs in the market. The second reason, so it is not only the involvement, but the second reason why it is important to involve the procurers, it is because, as I said at the very beginning, the idea is to procure the solution, to the adoption of the solution. So it is important that the procurers really commit from the really beginning, and just to say, if this is successful, we will procure the solution. So in this sense, defining a really good and clear KPIs, it is a must. You really need to define which are the KPIs at the very beginning of the co-creation, and just to set which are the ones that will measure the success of the solution, and in which way the solution it is going to improve the service provided by the healthcare organization, the quality of the service for the patient. I mean, KPIs, there is a wide variety, but you have to make sure that they are really well defined at the very beginning, and that you have a follow-up process throughout all the co-creation, just to take any measure if there's any big deviation. And the other point regarding which are the stakeholders that should be involved into the co-creation, I think, I mean, obviously companies are the ones that are going to develop the solution, but then you have to consider, as I said, that procurers or the professionals are going to really devote a lot of time into the development of the solution. But also you need to consider the support of some external experts in some aspects, like legal aspects, regulatory requirements. And one thing that we have found lately, it is that it is quite important to support both companies and professionals into the definition of the price of the solution. So which is going to be the price of the solution if the solution it is procured? I mean, which is the value? Because when you start co-creating the solution, you don't pay much attention to that. You just want to co-create the solution. And maybe at the end of the co-creation, the solution the resulting solution, it is different to the one that was planned at the very beginning. So support on these 3 areas, legal, regulatory requirements, and set the pricing, it is really a must. And also regarding which is the right length of funding for the co-creation process, this is really challenging, especially in digital health, because it really depends on a lot of different axes, like which is the TRL of the solution, which is the involvement of, do you need involvement of patients or only professionals? Is it going to be an IT solution to be used internally in the hospital? or is it going to be a solution really open to the patients? So we really, it took us a lot of time, or we really paid a lot of attention to this evaluation criteria. It's like and we have it quite clear that the solution selected should really match the amount of money we were going to fund and the period of time that where the co-creation was going to take place. So wrapping up, I would like to leave like 3 messages. It's like procurers have to be at the center of the co-creation, because we really want to achieve the adoption. The ultimate goal is adoption. So procurers have to be there. And the external experts also are important to support the companies in quite concrete aspects that they haven't got the capacity, especially SMEs, to cover individually. So those are my 2 cents.
Thanks a lot, Miriam. I hope you hear me well now, or better than before.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be back with you. So without waiting anymore, I suggest that now we should be able to hear Isabelle Barryman from Motiva. Isabelle, would you continue?
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, we do.
Excellent. Yes, my name is Isabelle Barryman. I come from Motiva in Finland, as Bertrand said, and have been working quite a long time with sustainable and innovative procurement in a kind of facilitators role. And I'm currently leading the Finnish Competence Center on Sustainable and Innovative Public Procurement. And a few experiences that we have had in that role as facilitating, or really being at the kind of focusing on matchmaking between procurers, public procurers, and then companies and innovative companies on the other hand. We basically work on different levels. And 2 examples of what we do is really at the core of what we're discussing today of co-creation. One is biogroups, which is something which I know that exists in several countries, and also within European or EU-funded projects. And that's really one place where co-creation with those bio organizations and companies should take place, also with research and development. And we want to provide such a cooperation or co-creation platform in those bio groups. The other area which we are working in is really getting more experiments in the public sector as a whole, where of course procurement is one area where it kind of makes it very practical, and there really what it's all about is co-creation, and we believe that the public sector, public procurers should, when it's for them strategically important and an area where they can't define the need, or they can't really put their finger on how to address a certain challenge. They, instead of making big procurements and for instance buying a solution which they then have to live with for 5 years, they should go about with small agile experiments involving companies, SMEs, building up ecosystems around that certain challenge. So really providing a platform for it. And this is something which we have been working with the Prime Minister's office in Finland in getting these kinds of changes running in the public sector in Finland, both in the central government, but a lot at the municipal level as well. And but what we do see is that there is then kind of a lack between the experiments and what they learn from that kind of co-creation. It could be a hackathon. It could be kind of a just testing new solutions in a real kind of environment. Because after that experiment, you need to make a proper procurement. And this is the role or the same challenge that we have, for instance, for test beds, which I know is also very common in different countries. How do you go about from experimenting and testing to the actual procurement? And this is something which we are now drawing up in the same kind of process that Bertrand has on that picture that we all can see, which we call from experiment to scale. Because we, of course, working for the public or for the government, see that it's really important that we do assure that people or companies or procurers don't fall, as we say, between the chairs afterwards, but that we have procedures to ensure the scalability also of those procedures that we have been testing or the solutions. So I would also say that for this initiative which you are working on, which I find really important, and we see that the whole kind of process that you have on the picture is really one, where you can co-create from the beginning in addressing the challenges. Market consultation is kind of a procedure which is running all along, and then really getting to testing and co-creating the solution in a practical experimental place. But you also need to see what happens then, what happens after this, and that's really important also to kind of have some kind of help and guidances for that. But this is based on our own experiences, and I think that overall this is something which is really needed, and I'm also very keen on getting, of course, both Finnish public authorities and also companies to get involved in this. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you very much, Zamaria. Thank you for these insights, also for sharing your experience. We know that in Finland you have been working since years on supporting innovation procurement and matching with the innovative suppliers, particularly the smaller one. Actually, without waiting anymore, if Céline is still with us, Céline Saint-Olive-Bach, CEO of Nora Care, I would invite you, Céline, now to perhaps react from your precious point of view. You are finally the only CEO here today, so beneficiary of the EIC on the top.
Thank you, Bertrand. I will be very quick. Yes, I wanted to share a few experiences from our side. At Nora Care, we are a manufacturer of orthopedic implants, and our vision, our target is to regenerate the bone after a fracture, a bone disease, or a ligament rupture. So we are in both categories. As mentioned before, we both have products on the market and products under development. But here I will mainly talk about product on the market, because this is where I mainly experienced the contact and discussions with procurers. So I experienced many times contacts with private and public procurers in France and also Europe. What I can say from a small company which is not well known from big procurers is that it's quite difficult to reach to the right person, and it's also difficult to establish the trust. We found out that as a new company that does not have any product registered with the private insurance, for example, they need time to understand our range of product, and they also need time to make sure that we will be able to supply in time, won't have a shortage of products, and be a trust supplier for them. So this took quite a long time to establish this trust. And one part also that was not mentioned much before is that the discussion is quite hard to understand on how the product will be paid for. We encounter many times that if the solution does not have a code that is already dedicated for this range of products, it takes quite some time, and this is why it's also very important to discuss with procurers among a lot ahead of time in order to design the right product and make sure that it can be paid for in the right way. One thing you mentioned is that is the financial support always mandatory? I would say from an SME point of view, financial support is not always mandatory. What we need is, especially from the EIC and the European community, once we have been selected, it is really the support and the backup of these big communities. We have been selected, and the idea is that we should be then considered as trustworthy company that can bring solutions and that can bring help for healthcare providers. In my case, so. One example I would like to share also that was very useful for us is
Celine,
that, yes.
I'm sorry for that, but since we are running out of time, we still have, I think, less than 20 seconds. I think, unfortunately, we have to stop here. That's very, very much unfortunate, and we have to apologize for you, but also for the audience. But I will leave you the final words, and to recall again that we can meet next week again, the 30th of September. Please send us an email to François and I, and we will continue this discussion. I leave you finishing, Celine.
Okay, so very quickly, if there are some SMEs hearing here, one good experiment I have was the EIT Health Bridgehead program, which is exactly the type of program that bridge SMEs with procurers and facilitators. And I would say that we have some financial support, but as well also some backup from the network in order to meet the procurers, the facilitators, and they help us both on the market overview, the showcasing of our technology, and also to understand the reimbursement pathway. That's my testimonial.
Thanks a lot for that, Celine. Actually, meanwhile, we still have 5 minutes more. That's a good news that I just received from the organizers. So if you want to pursue a little bit, Celine, you have still a few, let's say 1 minute, if you want to add few words.
Everybody spoke before me? Okay. Okay, maybe I can get a little bit deeper in the EIT Health Bridgehead program. So to explain how it works, you need to the SME needs to provide a file to be selected, and once you're there, you need to choose some facilitators, and the aim is to go outside of your country. So in my case, I selected the UK as a country of interest, and I got into contact. I selected one facilitator. It's the Innovation Agency in the UK, and it's so far I'm still in the process, but it's very useful because they provide me a market overview. They help me to showcase my product to the healthcare events with their backup, and also they built together with me some business cases dedicated to the NHS, and we started to also go under the reimbursement pathway. So this is both financial support, it's 30,000 euro financial support, and also a backup from the EIT community. And this is maybe what I could say is that financial is good, but you need also the backup of the community to show to the procurers and private and public procurers that we are strong companies, serious companies who can provide some service.
Interestingly, on this example, Céline, actually there is one comment from John Kerrigan in the chat, and John actually is precisely mentioning smaller companies, entrepreneurs such as you, and the one particularly that are finding it difficult to find a front door of the big procurers like the NHS. He says scaling companies also face a challenge as they move across Europe. So that's a good example of precisely what you are currently experimenting. But I would have one question, perhaps to the procurers, Lydia or Louis particularly. Actually, how does the procurer find his interest in doing so? It's nice indeed to receive a company that is financially backed up, but yourself, does it make a real difference to you, Louis, for example, to have a company coming to you actually with an extra support from a third party, such as the EIT or EIC? Your mic is cut. Is closed.
Okay. I'm here. Yes, sorry. Yes. I mean, it will depend for which purpose the company has received a support. Of course, as a procurer, we receive a proposal for many different innovative solutions. So it is an important work to analyze all of them and try to find which are the good ones. So it really depends for what they have received this specific support. I mean, have they won a specific prize because they have been evaluated by experts of their field, and so these experts can give the certainty that this company is bringing added value with their solution. So of course, if we have 5 companies who are proposing almost the same solutions, maybe we will look at the ones who have received a specific support because they have been already assessed and, let's say, proved by other experts. So it really depends on the kind of support and background they have with them. So if it's just because they have been founded, but for no specific reason, maybe not. But if they have a specific, let's say, label with previous evaluation for other expert, of course, if it is of added value for the company.
Thank you for this immediate reaction. Actually, we still have 1 minute, or we will cut now really soon. We did have a follow-up question on the chat from Jorge Gonzalez from Biomed, I think, and it was about precisely the difference in the proposal between Action 3 and Action 4. I would tend to think that we should follow up this discussion, also considering the technical difficulties that we faced. Again, apologies for all that. And I would tend to say that we should try to continue this discussion next week, same day, same time, Wednesday, the 30th of September at 3:30. Please register, send us an email to François Brizard or myself, Bertrand Wert, at ec.europea.eu, and we will be delighted to send you the link, this time using a better platform where we can continue this very interesting discussion. I think on these points, unfortunately, I think I will close our discussion of today. I will thanks again all of our speakers taking your precious time to be here with us today. Miriam, Lydia, Céline, and actually Elisa that could not join, Isa Maria, Louis indeed, and François. Thanks a lot again for your support. This file on innovation procurement and innovative SME is indeed not closed, and we will continue all the design and the construction of these new instruments. Thank you again for your time. Apologies, and I wish you a good end of the day, and continue to follow the R&D and I days. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bertrand. Bye-bye.
Thank you.